Welcome to the Luxe Leap. My name is Reland Logan, and we chat with women-led businesses making bold moves, big wins, and the secrets to extraordinary branding. So I have a question. What if your next bold business move wasn't about working harder, but making smarter financial decisions? Žaneta is the fractional CFO every growing business wishes they had sooner. She's the founder of ASTVIA, and a financial advisory firm that helps small and mid-sized businesses gain crystal clear clarity and confident control over their numbers. With a background in corporate finance at powerhouse companies like Amazon and Starbucks, Žaneta now empowers entrepreneurs to improve profitability, make data-driven decisions, and scale sustainably without losing sleep over spreadsheets. If you've ever wanted a strategic partner who can translate your vision into smart financial growth, this is your episode. Please welcome the calm, confident, and competent, while we're at it, force behind the numbers, Žaneta. Welcome, Žaneta. How are you?
Hi, Reland. Very nice being here. Thank you.
Of course. Well, I'm super happy to have you. I love numbers, but could never do what you do. So kind of want to just dive right in. What inspired you to start your brand? So just give us the brief Reader's Digest version.
All right. Well, after years in corporate finance, like you mentioned, at companies like Amazon, Starbucks, Expedia, I saw that small businesses often lacked access to the same level of financial strategic advice. And, all businesses have bookkeepers and CPAs, but they need someone who can connect their financial data to real business decisions. And that's why I started ASTVIA, to help growing businesses bridge the gap and truly understand their numbers. I wanted to bring CFO level insight to the kind of businesses that need it most, but often can't afford it.
And it's true because we think about the statistic that most businesses don't make it past year 5. And a lot of times I work with a lot of early entrepreneurs outside of this business. I do coaching for a nonprofit. And when I'm teaching those businesses, how to scale, how to set themselves up for success, a lot of it comes down to, can you manage your numbers or can you not? And there's a lot of folks who will say like, oh, I need grants. I need this. I need loans. What do you have to say to those folks who are not choosing to bet on themselves and create sales as a strong structure from a financial perspective?
So most businesses do fail, half of them fail within, 5 years, as you noted. And most of them fail not because they have a bad product or bad service, but really the number one reason is they run out of cash.
Yeah.
Right? But getting loans is okay, but it's not sustainable. So the number one, what businesses need to realize, they really need to figure out how to generate cash to invest and to grow from their business. But to do so, you really have to understand and know your numbers. And, while CPAs are absolutely necessary, to be compliant, to file your taxes and do other things, they really just look at your past performance. And that's where I come in. Let's look, where do you want to be, and can you grow, or can you survive if you lose your biggest client? So, those are the things that most small to medium businesses do not think of.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I know I just threw a curveball question at you, but one should be warned that I will forever ask extra questions.
That's all right.
I'll pop an idea in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, this part. So when you think about that, knowing that cash flow is king, all those pieces, and you've worked at such huge companies, like you said, Expedia, Amazon, Starbucks, these are things that we see on a daily basis in our lives. What was the pivotal moment in your own brand journey that really defined where you are today?
There's one thing that, I have this anecdote, and I started at Amazon in 2008 at their global accounting department, which was only about 50 people at the time. It was still a very kind of startup-ish type of company, right? And as a trained accountant, with a bachelor's degree in accounting, we were taught at school, all the financial statements, all the ratios, and, things we have to watch and stuff. And what I learned is Jeff Bezos did not care about any of those. And I'm like, why? The only ratio or metric that he really cared about was free cash flow. And at that time, I just brushed off. We still had to do all the financials and stuff, for reporting. But then after years, that's when it kind of like the whole puzzle, came together for me. It's like, that's why he only cared about cash flow, because he wanted to grow. And to grow, this is really all that matters,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and my personal pivotal point came to where I had this owner business that was really kind of playing catch up all the time. So we helped them to clean up their books, to automate their processes, their reporting. And then suddenly, with all the insights, they were able to make, quick, smart decisions for hiring, for growth. And, that what kind of made me realize that's what I want to help businesses do. Bridge that gap that they don't have, as small businesses cannot really afford a full-time CFO.
It's true. It's true that they can't. And so I appreciate that you brought those skills, but also that you just the story of figuring out why cash flow was important and how that was a metric that love them or hate them.
Right.
And I can't say I'm on the former of that statement. He was not wrong. So,
Right. Yes.
but it is important, the work that you're doing, because you're right. Like when we go to bookkeepers, we go to CPAs, it is always about the past and not necessarily projecting or finding creative ways to go get more money.
Right.
And money that is betting on you and not an institution, so to speak. So I can personally say that I've actually never taken out a loan for this business. It is all from cash flow.
That's
So
amazing.
thank you. But I still giggle, and I've told the story a few times since the last time that we spoke, of like when we were talking about the podcast. You're like, well, how do you make money? I was like, well, not the podcast, but it's important to know where those revenue streams come from.
Exactly. And you would be surprised how many businesses I find out that they have no clue what their finances look like.
Oh, it doesn't shock me. But it probably shocks somebody listening. I mean, let's be honest. I think people are scared of numbers.
They are, and they can be. I mean, the numbers aren't scary. Well, for me, they are not. And again, let's go back to why most business owners start their businesses. It's probably because they are good at what they do, right? A service, a product. They maybe want more freedom, more, instead of working for someone. So they're good at their craft, but they're not good at their numbers, and they don't have to be. No one is good at everything.
No.
And, that's why we come in. I, as an accountant, not good in sales. So I hired salespeople to help me sell my services, right? And so, my really goal is to make numbers to not be scary. And the system I use, actually, I don't, pile a bunch of reports and numbers and show it to people. No, I have a system that is fairly simple. I will do all the analysis behind the scenes. And when I meet with business owners, I really have this very simple dashboard with 3 colors: red, yellow, and green. And most people know what they mean, right? If you see lots of red, it's probably something we need to look at.
Probably. You should probably stop what you're doing. Stop what
Right.
you're doing right now.
Right. So, and basically, just let's focus on one thing at a time. What's the main thing we need to fix in your business to get there? So probably now straight away from your original question, but
That's why we're here. I mean, if we're not straying away, I don't know that we're doing it right. Um, but like one of the things that also just crosses my mind in this space, and I appreciate that you keep it so simple because, from a brand perspective, I think the hardest thing anybody can do is simplify. And I was recently kind of put into a corner and by put into a corner, everybody, I mean, I put myself into a corner. Nobody can really back me into a corner unless I say so. So, the diary of an overly confident woman. But in that space, I just had to reflect back of like, what is the one problem that I solve? Not like problem 152, but like, what is the one problem that I solve? And do I do a very good job of speaking to it? And when that question came up, what I recognized was like my number one problem that I'm constantly solving for. And what I always say to people when people are like, well, what do you notice? I'm like, what I see as a problem, I don't know that everybody else sees as their problem. And that is that people don't know how to create profitable packages. Now, one might ask, like, how does that have to do with branding? It has everything to do with branding. Because if you don't have something you can communicate that you're offering that doesn't make you money, like, why are we here? And so, in your experience, you notice that people don't look at their numbers, but when you do start helping them, do you notice that from a brand perspective that they do or do not have strong packages that can create that cash flow?
that is one of the drivers that I always review. It's costing and pricing, right? Uh, and again, how often people don't realize that they're not charging enough for their products. They're not charging enough for their services. And, working for free is like, that's not what you wanted when you started your business.
No.
And believe it or not, but 80% of businesses make less than $100,000 per year in revenue. That's not enough for all the work, all the, risk that you're taking. Might as well get a job at that point. So, to be profitable, you have to charge for your services.
It's so true. It is so true. And like, it feels so good to have this conversation with you because I think I shared like I didn't really have anybody from finance yet on this podcast. And when I'm explaining how branding works, because so many people have this perception that brand is, all the pretty things and that we're just really good colors. Um, Real talk, you don't want me to draw you anything ever. But in that space, when we're looking from a brand strategy perspective, I'm always sharing with people, brand is where marketing, finance, and operations intersect.
Yes,
And it touches everything. So it's not abnormal to hear me talk about numbers because it's literally a part of what I do. I have to put that into consideration when communicating and marketing it out to a world. And then what systems do we have to back it up when somebody does buy from you? Like they're forever entwined. And so I love hearing you say that like people don't charge enough because they don't. And sometimes I get sticker shock for what I charge, and that's cool, whatever. Like some people pay it, and they make their investment back tenfold. But it's because I recognize that no one's just coming to me for the time that we're spending together when we're in making waves intensives. It's also the time that it took to get a lead, the time that it took for me to be posting on social. Like all of that is my time. And if I worked at a job, I would be paid for that.
exactly. Yes. That's what we call in finance overhead costs. Everything costs money, even if it's not exactly cash. Your time is also money. So
And
you're very correct there.
we need more people to think this way. We need more women to think this way. I could actually care less about the other half of the world, unless it's my child or a man in my life. But if more of us women began to think this way or partnered with you, Žaneta, like we would take over the world, and I think the world would be a better place because of it.
Exactly. And it is, how to say, it is true that women are softer when it comes to business, right?
Mhm.
We are much faster to give free products or free services or discounts, just to please someone. I don't know, we were raised this way or we wired this way, but I catch myself doing that once in a while too.
Me
So
too.
But it's important to know that, once in a while it might work, but we still have to be paid for our services just like everybody else.
Absolutely. And honestly, I always look at it this way. The more money that I make, the more I have to impact others and to give away.
Exactly.
So, I don't feel guilty anymore. I actually made myself feel guilty for not charging because I can't give back to the things that I want to give back to.
Yes.
And people need others to help them. Like it's all of us are going to need help at one point in time. And I firmly believe that it is the right thing to do to help others truly. And it doesn't always mean money, but I'd rather be put in a place where I can stop what I'm doing and help somebody because I have enough money to take the time to do so.
Exactly. And just like you said, first when you take care of yourself, then you're in a position to help others,
Yes.
financially or otherwise, right?
You got to put your oxygen mask on first.
There
Thanks,
we go.
airplanes.
Perfect analogy. Perfect.
We'll thank all of our airlines for that one. So
Yeah.
let's look to the future. What are your long-term goals for expanding your brand's impact? Actually, that was a great transition. How about them apples?
Yeah. So, you know, I see ASTVIA continuing to grow and bridge as a bridge between financial strategy and technology. Um, my goal is to help more business owners to feel confident and in control of their finances and know that, they can concentrate on what they do best, their craft. And I will just be there, their partner in their corner, just monitoring that all finances are aligned with their goals. So that's what I see ASTVIA kind of doing. And, the other thing is uh, CFO advisory services require to have really good data, right?
Yeah.
Without it, I cannot help. So that's why I keep mentioning technology, that technology is really amazing these days. I remember when we started, accounting 20, 30 years ago, it's it was crazy. But right now, with all the available, technology, we can really uh, do so many amazing stuff. So, the data, clean data, accurate data is a foundation. Without it, we can't get the insights. So that's where I'm, always kind of bridging this, technology and strategy. They go hand in hand.
They absolutely do. And like spoken like a true person who lives in Seattle, I might add. Um,
You're correct.
like, it's just like, no, we can't live without tech. And I mean, it's true, but I think that's also just a byproduct of being in the Pacific Northwest. We're like, technology. Um,
Yes.
but clean data does matter. And especially when we're talking about money, like we don't want any types of surprises. And so having to be able to sort through that, I think makes for a more impactful business overall, to the bottom line of all business owners. So I love what you do. It's incredible. How will your marketing strategies start to adapt, especially with the rise of new technology, to support your brand's growth? What are you doing to grow?
So, I'm envisioning that, ASTVIA will be education-based marketing. You know, I'm building all kinds of what to say resources, right? I want to have trainings, webinars, materials to help support businesses. I want to give them some value first before I start uh, you know helping them if they need me to. So that's basically the way I envision my and ASTVIA strategy going forward.
I love that because you're right. At the root of it, like we can't just hand things over to you blindly and assume that you can fix it because we probably can't answer your questions when you start asking them. So there needs to be a baseline in order to be successful in that space. Um, you know, one, I should not be the one to teach people finance. Step one. But two, I mean, I know enough to be dangerous. And when I'm coaching some of those startup businesses and we're working, like, it's amazing how many people don't even understand how to fill in, let alone read their P&L.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then like creating projections, real projections, are very hard to do. And I'm better at the future planning of it all, if I'm being very honest, of like showing like, this is what you're making. Where do you want to go? And then how many sales do you need to get there? I'm such a sales leader. It cracks me up that I am in brand at all. But in that space, like I said, they're all intertwined. I find that there is a base level of education, to your point, and that you taking that as your marketing path is very smart. The only big thing is, how do you bypass the fear that people have over numbers, and so they avoid it?
Right. So finance doesn't have to be scary. It's really one of the most powerful tools for freedom and growth when understood. So my goal is to not teach you the whole accounting, things that, it took me 4 years to learn. But like you mentioned, some basics, reading P&L and understanding cash flow and how important it is, just the concepts are good enough.
I love it. Oh my goodness. This has been an incredible episode. So I'm going to switch gears on you. I have 2 surprise questions. Are you
Oh,
ready? She's like,
all
oh my
right.
goodness, I'm running away.
Let's see.
They're easy-ish. You know what? Some people find them easy. Others are like, why did you ask me that? That's actually kind of hard. So you're going to just decide what camp you're in after we're done with these 2 questions. But what does a day living a luxurious life look like for you?
Oh, you know what? My luxury is actually quite simple. I do value time and relaxation more than anything. And, just recently I have rented an apartment in a beautiful Galicia city of Vigo with an ocean view.
Oh my God.
And I just can't wait to be there, So, a couple times a year I go there and just enjoy myself. Beautiful, kind of relaxing atmosphere. So, friends, family, great food and wine. That's my luxury.
Oh my goodness, that sounds so beautiful. Anything by the beach makes me happy. Take me with you. In one word,
Gladly. Come visit.
perfect. I will be there. Say less. Everybody heard it here. We'll
Yes.
follow up later. So, last one, best one. In one word, what is your primary motivation in business?
Primary motivation in business in one word. One word. That's one word is difficult, but let's say primary motivation in business. Trust. I think, in my mind is when business owners trust me, I can help them. So when they trust me, I feel they're a true partner. And, that's what motivates me.
Oh my goodness, I love it. That was such a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
I'm not even going to ask why. And everybody teases me that it wasn't the last question. For you, that truly was the last question. But seriously, thank you, everyone. This was her first podcast ever. So round of
Thank
applause if
you.
you're driving. You did amazing. And how can folks find you if they want to work with you?
So I have my website that they can go and schedule free consultation or just, schedule a meeting and say hello. It's ASTVIA, ASTIVIA. Okay, let's start over. ASTVIA.com and or on LinkedIn, Žaneta Noreikaitė.
Oh my goodness, I love it. And all of that will be linked below in the show notes. So you guys can connect with her, let her know that you saw her on the Luxe Leap podcast or was listening. For those of you who made it to the end of the show, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. We couldn't do this without you. And like she said, if you'd like to work with Žaneta, please connect with her on her website or LinkedIn. And if you are looking to rebrand or just need somebody to have quick eyes on your website, let me know. Would love to do a brand breakthrough with you. My goodness, I need to rename this video audit, everybody. But it'll be known for what that is. I will go through all of your website, let you know where you are leaking dream dollars. So until next time, everyone, can't wait to see you, hear you on next Thursday. Until then, have a beautiful day and we'll talk soon. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, Reland. Bye.